Hi, and welcome to this particular episode. We are very lucky to have not only the coach for Bridge City's volleyball team, but the entire team as well. Thank you for joining me, girls.
Thanks for having us.
Okay, so, coach, give me an idea. Just tell me a little bit about your background in coaching or just in general.
Okay. So I started at Kelly High School in Beaumont in 2016. I was the head coach there for 3 years. And then I moved over to Westbrook High School in Beaumont, and I was a varsity assistant for 2.5 years or so. And then this was kind of a last minute, the job wasn't really posted. It wasn't super like public. I had heard through the grapevine and kind of reached out to a couple people that I knew, and I think I got hired on like 3 weeks before the season started last year. So it was a quick transition, but I'm blessed. Honestly, this has been a really great program to be a part of.
And this is like a question I've always found interesting to ask coaches because each one of them, their answers are different. What made you decide to become a coach? What was that one moment that you're like, oh, this is what I want to do?
Well, let's see. So there's a coach in particular. When I was in high school, he was my basketball coach, and if he ever sees this, he is just going to blow my phone up and probably talk all kinds of mess on me. But he was my basketball coach in high school, and he just really made me fall in love with the game. And it wasn't even volleyball; it was basketball. But the way he treated us and the expectations that he always had for us, it just made me like I wanted to be that for a kid. He was like my go-to if I ever needed anything school-wise or whatever the case was. He was just like that adult figure at the school for me, and I relied on him for a lot of things. And so I just admired that, and that's something. And I've played sports my whole life, and so that was just I fell in love with it after that, and knew that's what I wanted to do. So perfect.
What made you want to play volleyball?
Go ahead, Demi.
Why would y'all do that?
This is Demi Carter. She's our junior.
That's me. Okay. Well, I started playing volleyball in 7th grade. Before that, I was like all basketball. I didn't even know like really what volleyball was. And then I tried out in 7th grade, and then I just kind of fell in love with it, and I started club and everything like that. And that's when I just knew like that was a sport that I wanted to play.
Aww. So cute.
Thanks.
Okay, Taryn.
I don't
What's
really
your name?
know. Oh, my name's Taryn. I don't think so. Like, what made?
Fun fact, I coached Taryn when she was 9 years old on a 12U team, and I think that was your first year.
My
And
first
she
time
was
was-
little bitty. She was the youngest one on the team, but she was like a super hard worker, and she wasn't going to let anybody outplay her. She kind of has that same vibe going now. But I don't know if that was your first time playing
Yeah,
volleyball,
that
but
was.
after that, it's been, she's like lived and breathed it. So, anybody else? Anybody? We have a lot of like multi-sport athletes. A lot of our girls play like softball, basketball, what else? They run and do track and field. So we have a lot of girls golf. Yes. We have a lot of girls that do a lot of things. And so we don't really have a lot of one sport athletes around here. So I think Anna Kelly, where's she at?
Oh,
She's a freshman. She's probably our next one that's really like all about volleyball and kind of gung ho about it. But you played other sports too, so we're just really lucky in this program, honestly, to have a lot of great volleyball athletes.
Okay, Coach, I'm going to put you on the spot for two more questions. And it's kind of not so much as fair because it's in front of your girls, so I hope that you forgive me for it.
Okay.
If you had a volleyball girl, or if you had a girl at one of the lower schools, like uh, 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, not at the high school yet, but she's like, Coach, I really, really want to play volleyball once I get to high school. What should I be doing now? What would you kind of like tell one of these girls?
To make sure that you're getting touches in the off season. Honestly, there's a lot of club programs in our area, in the Houston area, and that's always. You can't it's like any sport. You can't expect to be the best at something if you don't work at it. And, participating in the off season, in the spring, in the summer, and playing volleyball and getting into those clubs or going to camps, that is really what makes the difference in, a kid who's a standout player and then, an average one.
And what sort of expectations do you have for these girls as far as like practice and performance?
Well, I'm kind of the coach that, I draw up a practice plan, and if we can, our practices last about an hour and a half to 2 hours. If I have it planned out for 2 hours and we're done with it in an hour and a half, then I'm fine and we're good to go. And in practice, it's not about how long my practice lasts. It's the quality that we're getting in at practice. If the girls get in and they're doing their drills and they're hitting their goals each drill, there's no point in staying an extra 30 minutes, unless somebody wants to stay after. But I'm all about getting in and getting the work done. And these girls, these are all competitors over here. We have a super young team and they've really gelled, and, they're hitting their peak right now. And there's no better time in the season to hit it than right now before playoffs.
And suppose tomorrow one of these girls came to you and said, Coach, I want to coach volleyball after high school. What would you tell them?
I would tell them, can you imagine coaching yourself? And they would probably be like, oh gosh, I don't know if I want to do it. No, they, we have a couple. I know for sure Taryn's been interested. We have some girls we have a local gym in the area that some of the high school girls go and they provide lessons for the younger kids. So some of them have already got a good taste of it. Patience. Learning what battles to fight, I think. And you really have to have a heart for it. In my opinion, the difference between a program that's going to succeed and one that doesn't is, your coach. Your coach is the top of the program, and if you can't get your players to buy in, then you're really going to struggle, I think.
And let's see, what is your current record in district?
We're 10-0.
And now on to the interesting questions. As I said, that when you send me emails, or I get emails for some of the other coaches in the area, you talk about things like aces and digs, and I think of kills as well. Mm-hmm. I am completely volleyball illiterate. I know it has a net and a small white ball. Beyond that, I'm pretty much clueless. So Give us a little bit of idea of like terminology that the average person may not know about volleyball.
Okay, so a kill is typically when we go up offensively to swing on a ball. If that ball then hits the floor against the other team, then that's a kill for us. So we get an automatic point. Volleyball is rally scoring, and so you get a lot of points for different things. An ace, when we're behind the service line and they serve the ball and it hits the floor and their defense can't pick it up, or they shank the ball, which means like comes off their platform. I just realized you probably don't know what shank is. When when you go to pass the ball and it just flies. What's another one? A block. Deb, what's a block?
I was gonna say what I do.
It's when our 6'2" middle goes up and just stuffs it right back in their face. What else? What's one I'm missing? Block. An assist. So an assist is when our setters set the ball to our hitters, and our hitters are able to put the ball down and get a kill.
An ace.
Oh, I did it. Oh, a dig. A dig. Okay, so a dig defensively when the other team is swinging and we're able to get there and put the ball back up to our setter so that we can then offensively put the ball down. What am I missing? Am I missing anything? Oh, that's it. I think that's it.
And if I remember correctly, you're up against Jasper this Friday, right?
Yes.
And then you have one more game for the season?
Yes, West Orange next Tuesday.
So after that, do you start the playoffs automatically, or is there a bit of a wait while everybody else finishes?
There's about a week or so wait. Typically you have like warm-up matches, or that's your time to practice before playoffs. So our first playoff game will be November 1st on a Tuesday. So it'll be 1 week. You have kind of a district certification that you have to get all your district games in if for some reason they had to be postponed or whatever else. So, but yeah, I mean, it's pretty quick right after that. You're going, like Tuesday, Fridays or Tuesday, Thursdays. So, first round starts on Tuesday, but last year, I think our first round started on a Tuesday. And then our second round, we ended up playing on Thursday instead of Friday because we couldn't find a gym because basketball's picking up. I think basketball season starts today. They had tryouts. So, you start to get further into playoffs in volleyball, and then you start having trouble finding facilities to use because now basketball has games. So it gets a little bit crazy after next Tuesday, but it's like the most fun part of the season.
And this is a question for one of the girls that's playing more than one sport, and you can all answer it or one of you can answer it. How do you balance being in school, because you have to maintain eligibility, but still being at the top of your game in all of the other sports?
My name's Ashley Helm, and I play multiple sports. One thing I do is I'm in a bunch of college classes as well, so I'll get home from volleyball, and then I'll study as long as I can, and then if I have time, I'll go, say, hit the golf range or chip in my front yard, just doing anything I can to either work out or, get an extra reps for whatever sport I'm trying to maintain or practice in. Just definitely spread my time out and try to work on everything I can if I have time.
Lexi, I know you balance volleyball and softball.
We have a lot of these girls are their GPAs are like super high, and they it's kind of crazy sometimes. We're at games and both my assistant coaches are math teachers, and there'll be several times where one coach is coaching and another coach is on the near the benches or near the stands tutoring a kid in that subject. So obviously these are all great volleyball athletes, but school comes first, and they really prioritize that here. And we never have issues with failing grades or anything like that. So we're able to really focus on volleyball because these girls do take care of business outside of that. So
I know you girls have to get back to practice. I'm pretty much sure that you enjoyed the interview because you put off practice for a while. But all of you have probably already started looking at which particular college that you plan on attending or military or whatever. Do any of you plan on playing volleyball in college?
Me. My name's David. I committed to Angelo State a week or 2 weeks ago.
Well, congratulations. And let's see. Since this is the first group interview I've ever done, and I want to try something new with you girls, since we've, I can let this interview go on as long as I want. Do any of you have a shout out or something that you want to do to somebody that's watching?
People are watching. Hey, Mom, I love you.
Hey, Mom. Hey, Dad. Love y'all too.
Hey, Dad, Grandma, we love that you come
Yes,
to our
we
game.
love you.
Woo! Yes, Grandma.
And that does bring up an interesting question. How can people support the Bridge City volleyball team?
Come to our games.
Come to the game.
Give us a student section.
Packing our stands. We normally have really great fans though. We have, especially on playoff games, we have great fans that travel, but it's always fun. They always play their best at home on our home court when we have our stands packed. It's just a different atmosphere, and it's fun to be a part of too. So everywhere you go.
Okay, ladies, thank you for taking time out to do this interview. I've learned quite a bit about volleyball, so I won't be quite as in the dark when I post the stats. And thank you for sending me the team stats after the games, Coach. It makes a huge difference in me being able to support Bridge City Athletics. And you ladies are more than welcome to come back on the show whenever. And best of luck this Friday.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.